Alright, so I am quite familiar with hip pain. I would say that I am 99% pain free when it comes to my hips, but whenever I am emotionally feeling like I haven't been progressing the way that I should, I definitely have noticed that hip issues and hip pain increases. So I'm going to read about hip problems out of the Metaphysical Anatomy by Yvette Rose. You walk with anger and live with great frustration. You are suppressing a childhood trauma in which you had to watch every step and every action. You fear making your own decisions as you do not know the consequences or how influential people will respond. You do not trust your own judgment. You seem to feel in opposition to the people you want to reach out to for love and support. The most common pattern related to hip problems is invasion trauma, which I find is interesting because I used to have a lot of invasion dreams when I was growing up. Lots and lots of home invasion dreams. The most common pattern related to hip problems is invasion trauma. It could either relate to emotional or physical issues. You may feel ashamed and are frightened to be respected in a controlling, suppressed, or dominating environment. Your parents or caregivers failed to meet your needs in a way that made you feel valuable, which has left you feeling disappointed, and you feel resentment towards your family for not easily showing love. Others may have made you feel obliged to support them, regardless of your needs. You may be rigid and resistant to opening yourself up sexually towards your partner, which may result from past sexual experiences that were negative. Sexual guilt and shame may cause you to feel a great deal of resistance and rigidity in opening yourself sexually to your partner. You felt attacked by people you trusted. People you trusted did not respect your boundaries, so you drew your personal power from your anger. People only seem to hear you when you are angry. Hip problems often stem from a difficult, hostile, or even abusive relationship with a male figure, often a father figure or male sibling. This is often said that if the mother of the house is happy, the entire house is cheerful. If the father is unhappy, if he is the dominant authority figure and primary provider, then it disrupts the entire household and everyone is affected. It influences the mother, which inevitably influences the children. It creates imbalance and throws everything in the family upside down. Did you have a medical trauma that involved revealing or exposing your genitals? Did you experience a medical trauma that involved a visit to the gynecologist or surgery for both men and women where a catheter was inserted? These procedures may have left you feeling invaded, violated, or out of control. The procedure may have triggered deep ancestral abuse, such as molestation, rape, or incest. It depends on how you experience trauma and how you felt during certain procedures or circumstances. It might feel like a minor incident because it was a medical procedure. However, this could escalate into much bigger psychological problems, especially if there's a great deal of sexual offense in the family or ancestry. You may currently be or once have been in a relationship where you felt sexually inadequate, violated, or taken advantage of. So that is hip problems. So for hip issues, which I started working on my hip mobility. Honestly, it was before 2020, but I just remember sometime around 2019, 2020, like I could barely, if I got on the floor, I could barely get off the floor. And like during gynecological visits, I could not open my legs wider than, I would say, maybe 14 inches without feeling just like terrible discomfort. And I made a transition to zero shoes, and I followed that by doing a lot more just squatting in general. At the time that I transitioned to zero shoes, I worked at a factory where I was checking parts for quality assurance, and anytime there was an opportunity to squat down to check a part, I made an attempt at least. And in the beginning it was pretty hard to squat. I definitely was doing it in a lot of pain in the beginning. So getting the mobility back in my ankles is definitely a good place to start when trying to heal the hips. It might not be the fascial maneuver that I would choose over all others, but I would definitely say learning to, or developing the mobility in your ankles to be able to do a full squat is very important for your overall hip health and overall body health. So if I were going to choose two maneuvers to help with hip issues, I think I would start with anti-gravity, because I feel like it pulls the fascia in a lot of different directions, and it does get you down into a full squat over time if you can't do it now. So anti-gravity is gonna start out with locking our fingers and grabbing the fascia at the base of her neck and pulling up against the occipital ridge. I'll demonstrate real quick. You're gonna look up and do 6 breaths. You're gonna do chin to chest, and you're gonna do inhale right, inhale left to center, and you'll do that 3 times in on each side in that position, and then you'll come down to a skier squat, and you'll do the breathing right and left another 3 times on each side, and then you'll come all the way down into a full squat with your really go ahead and adjust the fascia again if you lose grip, but you're going to put your elbows in between your knees and breathe 6 breaths. Come up butt first, and then come back to the original position with elbows up. This one can make you very high. can bring up a lot of emotions. Just be careful. If you feel dizzy, just just be careful. So we'll interlock our hands and pull the fascia up to the base of our head and look all the way up. We're going to breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth. Pull in your spinal pelvic lock and breathe in 1, 2, 3, and breathe in through the mouth. 2, 3. All right, we're going to bring the chin to chest. Make sure you keep tension on the fascia on the back of your neck. You're wanting to pull, create as much tension between the fascia coming from your hips all the way up to your neck, and chin to chest, spinal pelvic lock engaged. And we're going to inhale and look right. And we're just looking with the head. The arms are long for the ride. Come back to center and we'll inhale and look to the left. And to the right. And to the left. And to the right. And to the left. Feel free to re-grip and make sure that there's lots of tension on your fascia, and pull in your spinal pelvic lock. We're going to come into a skier squat and we'll do inhale and right, center, inhale left, center. Just make sure you keep the pressure on the fascia on the back of your neck. And we're going to inhale right, center, and inhale left, and inhale right, and inhale left. And now we'll come down to a full squat. If you can't get into a full squat, you can just go to whatever point you can. Just keep your body in a C, pulling that fascia on the back of your neck towards your head as much as possible. And we're going to breathe in through the nose, out through the mouth. 2, pull in that spinal pelvic lock. 3, in through the mouth. And you can really feel it going into your hips when you breathe in through your mouth. And 3. Now come up butt first, keeping that spinal pelvic lock engaged, and breathe through the mouth. 2. 3. And come up vertebrae by vertebrae, keeping tension in the fascia. And we're going to end with our elbows looking up at the sky. And stay like this for a moment to let the spinal fluid drain back down. And you can pull your hands forward on your fascia here, pulling the toxins towards this area where there are so many lip nodes. Another one that I think is very important for hip health is the psoas release. With that one, I think it helps break up the fascial adhesions that are caused by wearing tight clothing in this area and sitting for hours upon hours during the day. So with the psoas, we're going to start in the belly button. We'll move to the right 2 inches and down 2 inches. You may feel an area there feels a little spongy. That may be the ileocecal valve. You're going to grab the fascia and pull it towards the belly button, and we're going to step forward with the left foot. Now you can stay in this position right here, or you can arch your back and look up at the sky, depending on whether your fascia is really dehydrated or not. It may feel like a ripping or burning sensation when you do this. So we're going to breathe in through the nose, out through the mouth. 2, 3, in through the mouth, pull in that spinal pelvic lock. 2, 3, and I like to just keep pulling on that fascia around the pelvis, around the hip bone. And we'll do the left hand side. So find the belly button and move 2 inches to the left and 2 inches down. And we're going to pull the fascia towards the belly button with our right hand. We're going to move our right foot forward. And if you feel like it, look up at the sky with your chest arched. Pull in your spinal pelvic lock, and we will breathe in through the nose, out through the mouth. 2, 3, and in through the mouth. And that's what I recommend to help your hips and your hip pain. I've been enjoying being mostly pain-free for, I would say, a good 2 years now, thanks to Human Garage Fascial Maneuvers. So I highly recommend doing them. They're certainly not hard. So, but they are beneficial.